I guess we can start with gear. So originally I was a Aurabot, so I used a lot of rarity and I just haven't changed out any of my stuff and I haven't gotten a chest armor with spirit on it, but um, this serves me pretty well. The increased defenses and maximum life make up for a lot of the defense I lost getting a bunch of rarity. Most important thing, um, probably this the patient barrier coupled with dependable ward. You need to get both, and that I got a megalomaniac diamond that has dependable ward, so they cancel the start faster and the starts slower. Rarity socketed in here. Rarity on the boots with like my cold and chaos res. Rings, percent increased damage because the shouts don't benefit from any of the physical damage to attacks. So you have to find a way to supplement that. And the best way I found to do it was with the increased damage. And then same thing on this one, just kind of like looking for max life, a little bit of res, and the increased damage roll. These ones were cheap, like I don't know, I think they were like 8 div for the pair of them. For when I use Hammer of the Gods or Earth Shatter, melee skills, attack speed, some more, damage to attacks. But this is the main thing for like the shouts is the extra damage as fire, cold, and lightning. And I just got the reduced attribute requirements so that I had enough int to equip it. But then I have int on, all my gear anyways. This hammer, the totems aren't bad if you have the right setup, right? But this hammer is god tier. I spent a lot on this. And then this shield really helps when you're having boss fights and stuff like that. 1 second. I knew this ring would sell. The thing is, like, you just have to do a lot of testing for yourself with the warrior, what works and what doesn't, because some of the stuff just flat out lies and it doesn't work. Like the Warbringer itself is kind of an example of that. Wait, where was this at? 15, 7, 13. Like the breaks armor below 0, that does nothing in the end game. Like it literally doesn't do anything. It's maybe like a 2% damage increase. But early game, it's very effective. Um, Ingenuity belt, again with the increased maximum energy shield, pretty solid. It's not a huge difference, honestly. The 19%, it's kind of like 120 energy shield, but it's enough. This was my old amulet because I used to basically just rely on physical damage, and that scales kind of with strength in a way. And the armor helped. I didn't need the spirit because I used the scepter, which is uh-oh, right here. No, wait. Yes, this was my scepter. So you used this. What? Yeah, let me I'm just explaining the progression here. So was the Aurabot build. I don't know if anyone isn't familiar with it. I've been playing it since like a few weeks into the season. You pop these bad boys on, and then I use this scepter for the presence area of effect because enemies killed by anyone in your presence, which is about 6 meters, counts as being killed by you instead. And rarity is an on kill modifier. It doesn't necessarily say that, but when you go in to your skills and go to the on kill effects, it says slain monster item drop rarity modifier. So then, if I put my old rings on and my old amulet on, and we go back in, we're sitting at 607% rarity. So then anyone that is standing within 6 meters of you, which is like that far on your screen, like probably like the edge of your screen, then it gives them all that rarity. So that's how I have so many divines, is a lot of party play and doing that. But anyways, let me re-equip these before I go into a map and forget I took them off. So for our passives, it's pretty defensive, right? Because like I haven't changed my passive skill tree since I played the Aura build. But we went pretty straight up, just into the Turtle Charm, which is like single-handedly the strongest ascendancy point that the Warbringer has. It just allows you to block all hits without raising your shield. And then we did which I don't know, you don't necessarily need the ignores Warcry cooldown to do the corrupted blood. But you would need to do 0 stun buildup, because as soon as you heavy stun an enemy with Seismic Cry, it goes on cooldown. But you could get enough cooldown reduction, I think, to make it happen. This is also a good node, so if you didn't go cooldown, you could take these two out and go to this, because then all your damage breaks armor. And the exploding corpses is your biggest damage. This is where the bread and butter happens. So like, for example, you kill a boss, you can see how much damage you're doing. So it's like in the millions, right? So you take 25% of that health and you deal it as damage. And then it's all of your modifiers, your increased damage, your the gain extra damage on my wand as cold, fire, lightning. It all modifies the amount of damage that this does, and it just wrecks shit. But we just kind of took this just because it was better than getting 5 more to strength. I think just a little passive life regen helps. All the block chance you can get. Then we go down here. For my hammer, I elected to take this in my weapon set 2 instead of both weapon sets, because the bleeding is basically only really impactful from like heavy damage. So Hammer of the Gods hits, it applies a bleed, and the bleed is fucking crazy. And then increased damage per 1% block chance. This just came on my Megalomaniac Diamond, which is right here. No? Where did I put that thing? Right here. Dependable Ward. Oops. Increase energy shield recharge rate and 25% faster energy shield recharge. Couple that with patient barrier up here on my anointment, you get increased maximum energy shield and it cancels out the 20% slower start of energy shield. Basically, the rest of this is just electing to take as much block chance as we can get, and anything that affects war cries. Like each well, see, you stack health and you use blood magic, right? So that you're just using health as your mana, and then you come up here and you recover 2% of your life and mana when you war cry. So as long as your war cry's cost is less than 2% of your maximum health, so like for me, we'll just call it, 3,200 health. So you're roughly going to be getting, 60 life back, give or take. Probably around 70, like 70 life back when you war cry. So as long as you keep your war cries relatively low, coupled with your life regen per second being somewhere around like 100-ish, and which again is why we took this node, and you use what's that one, vitality, which gives you a 1% of your total health. So we have like 1.5% of our health regen per second, plus we shout like 3 times a second, so we get another 6% of our health back there. We came down here just to get the increased attributes to use the armor that we're using because it requires dex and strength, and so we could use Giant's Blood. Just a little area of effect damage, more block chance, and increased defenses from equipped shield. And that's huge. If you notice, all of my jewels are basically just block chance and increased defenses from equipped shield, which if you have a shield with high energy shield and high armor is way more than you expect. Like, it's basically all I do. Now I could get more damage by getting different jewels, and that's kind of what I'm leaning toward. But again, increased energy shield recharge rate, same thing. Increased maximum energy shield and armor. And the real cool thing is you get something like this, right? Increased effective small passives. You get block chance and defenses from equipped shield. And all the stuff here is block chance and defenses from equipped shield and armor and energy shield. So it's like double dipping putting it right here. The best spot if you're looking for damage would probably be in this jewel slot right here. And you could just take all these nodes regardless of if they were good for you, because it'll hit all of them. See? And then you could just get like huge bonuses from all this. But I haven't respec'd my tree to do that. But the coolest part is something like this. You get increased energy shield from your equipped body armor, and you get increased armor from your equipped body armor, and you take all of these increased defenses, all this, and all of these increased armor and energy shield, and when you hit this node, the increases and reductions to armor also apply to your energy shield recharge rate at 40% of their value. So if you have 100% increased armor, your recharge rate of your energy shield is increased by 40%. So if you notice when I'm getting attacked, if nothing hits me for like a second, my energy shield starts going back up. It's typically like a 4-second delay. But mine's like, okay, something stopped hitting me and now it's going again. And then you get stuff like this, increased damage for each time you've war cried recently. Coupled with this one, damage for each different war cry you've used recently. So then you just hold this shit down and you use Raging Cry. So when you use Infernal Cry, it's gonna hit all the enemies and it's gonna calculate their power level. And then that's going to give you rage depending on how much power level is around you. Typically, it's like 2 Infernal Cries and you'll be at max. And that's why we took this increased maximum rage, and used Berserk in our weapon set 2 to get an increase of the effect of rage. So actually here, let me start this over. Let it chill out. Let's look at our Hammer of the Gods damage. 194,000. Well, now if I shout, right, and I go back, look at the damage. It went from 194,000 to 293,000 from my shouts. So you shout and then you instantly hit your Hammer of the Gods. And now it's casted with double damage. But yeah, if if you want, I could clip this and just upload it as a build guide and just kind of skim over all this, right? And you can just kind of pause it. And then I'll just go over all these. I don't use Blasphemy anymore because I don't have the spirit for the scepter, but that's what I did use. But this is the one you really need. Time of Need, Vitality, Fast Forward, Cannibalism, Hammer of the Gods, Concentrate Effect, Fist of War, Exploit Weakness, Rage Forged, Heavy Swing, Dazing Cry, Raging Cry, Premeditation. Grim Feast is huge. Goaded with Herbalism, Earth Shatter, Martial Tempo, Upheaval, Splinter, Demolisher, Tremors, Overwhelming Presence with nothing in it, but it's just good. This one I'm toying with using different things, but right now these are what I have in just for survivability during breaches. The blind helps. But typically, when I'm fighting a boss, I put Enraged Cry in here. So once I build my rage up, I hit a Seismic Cry. It consumes 10 rage. Then I'll hit Infernal Cry to gain the rage back. Then cast Hammer of the Gods. And Hammer of the Gods will consume 10 rage. So it's like double dipped between Rage Forged and Raging Cry. But that's pretty much the build. Plus Berserk. So here, let me clip this. Say like, what, last 15 minutes? Maybe we'll go last 30.